Good afternoon. Good afternoon, the President. Good afternoon to all students. Happy New Year to one and all. Welcome to the Friday afternoon's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Today, Friday, the second day of January in the year of our Lord, 2026. The first Friday, the first working day of the new year. Welcome. It's good to see so many students already in this classroom. Share the live, and let them know that we are on. We are coming out, lashing out in the new year. Here we are, 2026. We have made it. And we have to give praise and thanks. Today is another great day that the Lord has made. Let's give thanks for being in the land of the living. You know, it's a privilege to be in the land of the living, and we should never, ever take that for granted. So here we are, first working day in the new year, 2026, right? 2026 is here. Already 2 days, yesterday was the first day, New Year's Day. Today is the second day, and just now you're going to hear January finish. Just now you're going to hear that January is over. So welcome once again. I said a great day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks for being in the land of the living, to see this day and to see this new year. So give praise, give thanks always. The gates were open at 2, and the students rushed in at 2 to make sure that they are there very early. My colleague, CC, is in the studio, ready and rearing to go. Hope he has overcome the little difficulties he had on the last program. He was towards the end, Old Year's Day. He was not able to contribute because of some technical issue. But we whatever obstacles are thrown our way, we are going to overcome. A good way to start before I go into roll call and I go into all that. A good way to start is to offer prayer. I have a little prayer written down. So let me read what I have written here. Dear Lord, God, as this new year begins, I place my life, my family, and my future into your hands. Thank you for carrying me through the past year. The joy, the lessons, the silent battles you helped me survive. Lord, go before me in this new year. Heal what is broken, restore what is lost, and strengthen what feels weak inside me. Give me peace in my heart, clarity in my decisions, and patience in my waiting. Teach me to trust you more, even when I don't understand the journey. Cover me with your protection, my days with your favor, and my nights with your peace. Bless my co-host and the students of this program. We pray that you deliver Guyana from the grip of corruption and incompetence. I surrender this year to you, God. Do what only you can do. I trust you. I need you. I thank you for seeing me into this new year, and I know that you will see me through this year and many, many more years to come. Amen and amen and amen. So I thought it appropriate, on the last day, Wednesday, we had a prayer for the last day of the year. And now that this is the first program of the year, I had this prayer to pray for us, and I hope the students appreciate the prayer, because while I refer to it in the first person, I and me, it's for everyone. It is for every single person on this live, as well as those who are not on the live. Those who are not on the live. So let me move on. We're gonna do a quick acknowledgement of those who have been in the schoolyard very early, and then we're gonna move on. We have a lot to tell you this afternoon. We have a lot. Initially we had said first day in the new year, we're going to try to take it light, but so many things have happened. So many things, and we need to bring these things to your attention. The first man there this afternoon was the man from the hills, Balad, and he was followed by Aubrey. Wayne from the UK came. They all came at 2. Then Barbara, Sean, Peter. Then it was Earl. Then after all, Courtney, Kerry is here. Joan is here as well. Glaston, my squad mate from Canada, came in very early, 201. Sandra, Clarence, Bonita, Morton, Fergus, Como is here. Joy. Then it was Oren from the UK. He came into us 201. Brian, Clifton all the way from Paris. Puran from the Essequibo Coast. Mary is here. Magnell, Pinky. They all came within the first minute. Derek, Arel, they all came within the first minute of the program, the gates being open. And then when these doors were open, let me see how you stacked up here when the doors were open. The first person, as is customary, Edward Charles is here very early. Then it was Charlene, Junior, Mahadio, Pamela, Lorelli, Habu, Essequibo Coast. Commissioner Cole is here very early. Sian is here as well, very early. Umu, Joyce Prince, early as usual. Trifosa, Sister Trifosa is early. Kenrick, Coach, is here very early as well. So too is Altia. Yeah, right. So we have many people who came very early. And like you, as usual, we're not going to disappoint you. We have so much to tell you. Thus, we ask that you share the live, let them know that we are here. I just saw Ukraine, the man Franco is here as well. I saw it a while ago. All right, let me just give you the announcements, and then we're going to move in to the program. The first announcement, the dates that we have here, the funerals are going to take place sometime next week, so we have time for that. But I want to update you on the funeral arrangements for this young Fraser boy who was shot and killed in Sophia. Yeah? Xavier Anthony Fraser. They say there will be a candlelight vigil on Sunday, January the 4th at Mercy Wing Bridge from 7 p.m. I think that is in Sophia. Then there will be a wake on January the 5th at his mother's residence, 41 Plum Park, Sophia, from 5 p.m. And at his father's residence, 1 Republic Drive, BV, on Tuesday, the 6th, they will be there. So you wake on the Monday at his mother's residence, Plum Park, 41 Plum Park, Sophia. And then the following night at his father's residence, Lot 1. You know Lot 1, for those of you who don't know, is Alagala Studio. Alagala Studio there. That is where the wake will be kept on the 6th. And they said funeral will be on the 8th. So there's nothing on the 7th. Funeral on the 8th. The viewing at his mother's residence from 11 to 1:30. Thence to his father's residence, 1 Republic Drive, for further viewing from 1:30 to 2:30. And the service will commence from 2:30 and ends at 4:30. Burial will take place at the Bedford Acton Cemetery. So that is the update on the death or the funeral arrangements for young Fraser. And like, you know, it pains me to have to announce, but today is the second day, there's already 1 fatal accident, right? They call them an incident, you know. They say a man at Collingen, he riding his motorcycle at a fast rate, lost control, fell, and died. But they're calling it an incident. They say it's an incident. Well, let me say this. Whether you call it an accident, you fool yourself, you call it an incident. Let me call it, for clarity, road death. All right, you don't want to say an accident, you don't want to say an incident. Let me say it's a road death, or somebody died on the road. That should be straightforward. You don't want to say accident because accident might make you look bad. So you're trying to say incident, but let me call it, for clarity, someone has died on the road. So it's a road death, or a death on the road in Ghana. Let me call it that. Let us call it that. So you have that. And then let me give you the more pleasant announcement before I bring in CC. We start today, birth anniversaries, or birthday as they call. First man I have here is retired senior superintendent Stephen Jarvis, Saggy Jarvis, 9602 Jarvis, is observing a natal day to the fantastic officer, right? And we went even further back, how we were there together as youngsters in the Guyana Youth Corps. Then we joined, I think he joined the badge after me in the force. We joined all in 74. We were the TSU together, and then he branched out. But let me say this. When I became the commander of Berbice, Sagi was there as one of the subdivision officers. I think he was at WIM. Spent a long time at WIM. One of the most respected subdivisional and police officers in the whole quarantine. Everybody respected Sagi Jarvis. Everybody respected him because of his professionalism. Everybody respected him. I remember there was an incident there when some robbery or something took place, and some of these people wanted to paint a back picture and saying that the police did not respond promptly and so on. And people that said, no, they were telling Gadras, no, Mr. Jarvis was here very early. They had that type of respect for him. So Sagi is celebrating a natal day today. Then also today too is the birth anniversary of a former member, Elton or Irving Washington. Elton used to be in traffic, 8749. Used to be in traffic as one of those outriders, flying squad men, dressed up fancy leggings and so on and riding around. Today's Washi's birthday. Also today, birthday, our renowned attorney at law, our senior counsel, Nigel Hughes. Nigel is celebrating his birthday today. Very, very respected, no matter what they say. Whether you like his politics or not, you can't help respecting Mr. Nigel Hughes, right? You can't help respecting in the way he carries himself. You know, when you see some of them get SC behind the name, well, you know the SC that they have is not a complete, that's just the abbreviation, a complete spelling. You got 3 letters should come after the SC to describe some of them. 3 letters. SC, you guess what the other 2 are. To describe them, because that is what they are. That's a unique Guyanese word to describe them. SCU. And then I remember as a young drill instructor, when you train in these special constables, I was a special constable too. You used to say, what are you? They say, I'm a SC. And then you will continue the spelling for them, right? You will continue the spelling for them. So yes, today is Mr. Nigel Hughes' birth anniversary. So, and then we have coming up shortly the birth anniversary of Lionel Moore. Lionel was, look, the fantastic guy. 11715, I remember that very well. I had him under my wings when I was at the TSU, Lionel. It was Lionel and his brother Leo, his elder brother Leo. And Lionel got corporal, had a good instructor and so on. Lionel and Sample 11752, 11715 more, and 11752. I had them there with me. Fantastic young men. And then Lionel got a break to go to St. Kitts, Nevis, to join the force then. And he called and he said, he got in his break, and I said, well, carry a go. He went there to St. Kitts, joined the force in St. Kitts, became a trainer. And I was so proud whenever I worked in St. Kitts to run up to Lionel. Lionel was promoted, he became a superintendent. He's now retired. Lionel became a superintendent in the Royal St. Kitts and Nevis Police Force. Fantastic young man, right? I don't know where he is now, but Lionel is a Bobishan. Lionel is a Bobishan, West Coast Bobby. So it's Lionel and Leo, right? So Lionel is celebrating shortly, I think tomorrow. Tomorrow too, we have retired, I think Clay Rose, I think he's retired as an inspector. He celebrates tomorrow as well. Former member Wenrick Thomas, Big Daddy Thomas, 7971, I think was his number. 7971, Special Squad and so on. Tamo celebrating shortly as well. And then we have one, a guy who was a contemporary of mine, colleagues, when we were at Sparnam in 1973 as Special Constable, right? Neville Alls. Neville is celebrating shortly too. I know his sister, Pam, is always here and so on. I don't know if then she did indicate that Neville will listen and tune in too. And then the last one I have for upcoming birthdays, Sergeant Mohammed, Police Sergeant Mohammed, will be celebrating his 35th birthday I think tomorrow. So I want to take this opportunity to wish all those persons who are celebrating today, who celebrated in the near, who will be celebrating in the near future, and who celebrated recently, all the best. Happy birthday to you all. Happy. Let me bring in CC, and then we're gonna move with a few more announcements before we delve into the meat of the thing today. CC, welcome to the new year, man. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Happy to be in the land of the living to do God's word and happy to see a new year. Started well for me. Went to West Coast Barbies and I had a good reunion with some family members there, so it's good for me. I want to join with you and with wishing Saggy Jarvis happy birthday. I remember when I was Commander Barbies, he was my second in command. And he used to hold on the front office and he used to take out a lot of pressure off of me there, you know. He used to deal with issues there before they come to me at the back there, you know. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to Nigel Hughes, my senior super also, Lionel. And also congratulations to one Lennox Amsterdam. Some people might not know him. At one time, he was a technical advisor to Forbes Burnham. He lives in Atlanta, and he listens to this program here, and also to Dr. Terry Joseph, whose birthday will be tomorrow. So stick up in, hold a bit. I'm inspired. God has inspired me, and I want to pray for members of the Guyana Police Force. Yes, we had a prayer before, but prayers never enough. So let me pray for them, members of the Guyana Police Force. Almighty and everlasting Father, I bring the Guyana Police Force before you. I pray, Lord, that you will inspire them as they go about the task dealing with the Constitution of Guyana, the laws of Guyana, and what society expects of them, that they do so with clean hands, with warm hearts, with cool heads, and with a passion for the job and a passion for you, God. Lord, we know that this thing about policing started in Genesis. It started in the beginning. Lord, it was you who had to police Adam and Eve when when they pick the forbidden fruit from the poisonous tree. But Lord, which you did something, Lord, that you knew that they had committed an offense, but you didn't pass judgment on them. You asked them what happened. And there are numerous stories in the Bible, in the Quran, in the Gita, giving us ideas how to do policing. Lord, I pray that the two members of the force will read those holy books and follow the guidelines set there. Almighty and everlasting Father, I pray and I repeat, not that you didn't hear me, Lord. I know you heard me, but for the sake of emphasis, I ask that you inspire members of the police force to perform their duties with clean hands, with warm hearts, with cool heads, and with a passion for the job and a passion for you, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen and amen. And the church say amen. Fantastic, fantastic. Gotta pray for them. Yes, Assad, we gotta pray for them. We gotta pray. Prayers move mountain, even though some of them are not believers, but we gotta pray for them. And the good Lord will intervene because it looks how things are going now. It needs divine intervention. It needs divine intervention to right the many wrongs in Guyana. Now, moving on. Today or yesterday, the first was the seventh day of Kwanzaa. Remember Kwanzaa? We told you started on Boxing Day, and the seventh day, which was yesterday, was dealing with faith, Imani or Imani, which was faith, and you have to have faith. You have to have faith. So it ended yesterday, Kwanzaa, and then yesterday, January the 1st, was the anniversary of independence in Haiti. And you got to read and understand that the predicament that country is in. We'll start now. They gained independence in 1804. Let me read a little thing. They paid it. They had a successful revolution and independence from France, backed by military threat. Though France forced Haiti in 1825, they became independent in 1804. France forced them to pay indemnity to former slave owners and the French government for lost property, including enslaved people. So when they fought and they got their independence, there was a revolt, they got their independence, France insisted that the people who owned slaves had to be compensated for the loss of slaves. You understand where we get it at, right? They call it because the slaves were considered property, and therefore the fact that the slave owners had to give up the slaves, the property which was a slave, and they say it was a crippling cost. They said this is double debt because they had to pay the government, France, they had to pay the slave owners as well. It forced Haiti to take loans, draining its national budget for over a century, hindering development and contributing to ongoing poverty. Right? It got to the stage now where currently people are demanding. Activists and scholars argue that France owes Haiti significant reparations for this historic injustice, which crippled the first Black Republic. We got to know the history, Which crippled the first Black Republic. Estimates suggest the payments amounted to hundreds of millions of dollars then, equivalent to billions of dollars today. Some estimate go as far as over $20 billion France owes Haiti, right? And they say while they cancel some of Haiti's other debts, like a $77 million loan after the 2010 earthquake, it has resisted call to repay the independence debt, with current movement advocating for restitution. That is part of the history. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you, I said I'll tell you that before bringing CC, because if you read recently, let me try to pull it up here. There was a statement recently by the set to be made by the president. Let me see if I could find it, because he talks about Haiti and Jamaica. Yes, here it is. President said, "We will be supporting our Jamaican brothers and sisters and those in Haiti in a comprehensive way," President Ali. On the 4th of January, Independence Day in Haiti, following Hurricane Melissa, as Haiti got through, they actually got through yet with a comprehensive support from Guyana. They had problems, The president saying that they're going to support Jamaica and they're going to support Haiti, right? And this is the same government, PPP government, who put all sorts of restrictions on Haitians traveling to Guyana. Come out now with them shallow talk. Although Haiti is a part of CARICOM, and although there's what is the CARICOM free movement, Haitians can't travel to Guyana like that. They gotta go and get visa. And my understanding is that the closest place they could get visa is somewhere in the US. In the meanwhile, Bangladeshis and Cubans and a whole set of people can travel freely. Venezuelans and all Sri Lankans can travel and work in Guyana. But a fellow CARICOM member state, right? Restrictions are imposed on them. And then the president come to tell us that they're gonna what? The brothers and sisters in Haiti. We will be supporting our Jamaican brothers and sisters and those in Haiti in a comprehensive way. You gotta call these people out, You gotta call them out. They impose all these restrictions on those people. And now the president come to tell you this thing. So when I read this thing, sometimes your blood boil. But as I tell you, you gotta bring it out and educate the students so you can know. Don't listen to them, as we said, them tap thing where they're coming with. Seek, we're gonna go deep down and bring this stuff to you. Let me bring in CC for him to have his say on that, and then I'm going to move on. CC, President makes statement by supporting in a comprehensive way Jamaican and Asians. The
They,
same people who put in all them restrictions in the PPP government some years ago, despite the fact that Haiti is a part of CARICOM, they put restrictions. They gotta get visa for come to Ghana. So even though there is supposed to be CARICOM free movement and thing, that is what happening. Your take, my brother.
you are so correct, you know. And Haiti, the struggle started since the 70s, the 18th century. You know, it started there and it's continued. Even our own, as you mentioned, although they are a member of CARICOM, they got their visa to come to Guyana, and they always get in a hassle to come to Guyana. And all the presidents, so that's a big joke. That they're going to support in a thing with Jamaica and Haiti. He only joking Haiti, so he only joking Haiti because of the anniversary. But deep down inside, in tangible terms, they are not supporting Haiti. No way are they support Haiti. But the struggle will continue, and I'm sure something is positive is going to happen with Haiti. I mean, they had earthquakes and all kind of things that you name it, Haiti had it. But sure, the tide has got to turn someday. Someday the tide got to turn.
Someday we gonna continue to pray for divine intervention. I know it says you have a note here say they got independence from France on the 1st of January 1804, making it the world's first black republic after the first successful slave revolt. Right? The first successful slave revolt in 1804. Haiti became the first black republic. And then France put some pressure on them. Right? Put some pressure. They paid, imagine from around 1804, when France said they got to pay the government of France, plus the people who had owned slaves for loss of property. Those people paid until 1947. That is what the research said. Until 1947, they had to be paying. A poor country, and that is one of the reasons the people argue that Haiti has remained poor up to day like today. And now that they're demanding, the international, a lot of people are demanding that Haiti pay back some of this money to make reparations and so on. Let's see what will happen there. Let's see. So you got to bring these things to attention. You know. Somebody come and they make these statements, we are going to point out the hypocrisy in the whole thing, right? Now, the next thing we want to, on a lighter side, you know, the New Year started. How did the New Year break you? You know, all years there we talk about the cook-up rice, and we talk about those New Year traditions. Some people have been in church. Some people have been on the dance floor. How did the New Year break you? It broke me very peaceful with my wife, and we cheered and so on. Yeah, we had a nice breaking of the New Year, right? So how did it break you? What about your cook up? I had me cook up, you know. I faced the fire, cook up with obstacles. Cook up with obstacles. It had all the obstacles it could. Well, not all, but a lot of obstacles. Because we had said earlier day, it got to get pigtail. Got to get tripe. You got to get chicken foot. Remember we had I liked it, some of the things. I had mine with black eye and red peas and so on. And I get eye marks for the Olier's cook-up. Oh, I got excellent mark, right? A++ for the Olier's cook-up. So how did it break you? And how did your cook-up go? Also, breaking the New Year. Remember those of you in New York, we have a lot of students here from New York. You now have a new mayor. Mayor Zoran Mamdani, sworn in as the new mayor of New York. So yeah, you had all of those things taking place. Let me bring in CC for them to tell us something how the New Year broke him. And you know, CC, they tell us that when the wife they make the pair apart for Christmas, he sample early. Why don't he sample the cook up early as well? CC?
No, I didn't sample the cook up early. As I mentioned, before Christmas, I ate rapaciously, and then I'm back to my normal thing. I eat like a king, I eat like a prince, and I eat like a papa. But I had my family with me on New Year's, on Old Year's Day, wife, children, grandchildren. And then yesterday, I had my sister who came in from overseas. And remember, Paul, there was 8 of us, and only me and she remained. Only the 2 of us. By we should thank the Lord for that we still in the land of the living. So the old years break me, or the new year broke me quite well, and I'm satisfied so far with what has been happening in my life for the new year.
Yeah, so too, I can say that I'm satisfied with what is going on. And at the end of this program, many of the students too will be even more satisfied. But let me go, before we go, share this live. I have a surprise for you guys. I have a surprise for you, right? Yes, I mean, France must pay 80. France has to pay 80. That is what I said, reparations. Let me, I told you how we have a lot of shots for this new year, We have a lot of things for this new year. And with your continued support, we're going to continue to innovate. We're going to continue to innovate. Let me drop this song on the Alma. Let me drop this song.
Speaking out, yeah. Up comes Boslow and Mr. Clinton. Can't wait. Speaking and exposing corruption each and every day. Yeah. Guyanese, turn on your TV and go to YouTube and listen to what Boslow and can't wait to say. Yeah. Whole day we are calling for Boslow and Clinton Conway. They teach and educating, exposing the things in the system. We need a better Guyana for the little boys and the children poor. Slow and Clinton Conway.
All the money they invest, 2.2 billion.
Hear me when I sing. Yeah. Oh. Guyanese at home and abroad. Please log into Conway as wide as it can reach. Paul Slow, you always will preach. Oh, yeah. Like and share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so this message could reach as far. And every Guyanese will feel well. Oh, yes. Yeah. Paul Slow and Clinton Conway. Every day.
All the money they invest, 2.2 billion of our money. That money could have been invested someplace. They have to
Right, the issues.
We're gonna play it again later before the program ends. What you think about it, students? What you think? I mean, some people commented they like the lyrics. People want to know who's the singer. And some people said they heard it earlier today and so on. Yeah, we innovating as we coming along. And as the song said, we like and share, right? That is what it's saying. We are encouraging you to assist in the promotion of this channel, this program. Speaking Out, exposing corruption, incompetence. We're putting it in song now. We're putting it in song. So yeah, some people say they love it, and we are going to continue. I'm going to play it again before the program ends this afternoon. But we got some tough stuff, some real stuff to go into. How we gonna start it now? Ballad, I know you always just beg for these tunes, you like them and so on. So I ain't waiting for you to ask me. I'm gonna send a copy. I'm gonna send it to you. Because we want it circulated for people to understand, and those of you, but you know a lot of people because right now we over 1,500 on the live, and we know that this year we have a goal to expand the reach of this Speaking Out. As we said, we completed 4 years on the 22nd of December. We in now to the 5th season. Last year we had 138 episodes. So today is the first episode in the 5th season, right? Some people say making it theme song. We're gonna make it the theme song. A lot of people like the current song, but we're gonna make it the theme. We're gonna do a lot of stuff, man. We're gonna do a lot of stuff, right? We're going to do a lot of stuff with it. We know some people are accustomed to that, the previous song, but we are going to look at it and we're going to deal with you. So yeah, share. For those who have not, we're going to play it again, but I know that people are going to want to listen to that song alone. So I think I'm going to post it on the page so that you can make it shareable so that you can share and so on, right? Right. So let's go. Let's move on now. Let me ask CC what you think about the song, man. Let me ask CC. CC, what do you think of this new song that we dropped there? Our anthem.
Oh. One word, excellent, full stop.
Yeah, excellent, remarkable, right? So we're gonna, right? So we're gonna do the theme song on it and so on. We're gonna do things. We're gonna do things. Now let me move on. There are so many things that happened over the past couple of days. And I think the one that we got to start with, the one that interests me the most is this statement attributed to the president. I'm reading it from News Source, Garden, mostly News Source, on the 31st of December, All Year's Day. And it says, January firings for facilitators of fraudulent driver's license, say President Ali. You know, President came out a few weeks ago and said that they have triangulated, I think that's the word he used, the system, and have found out all those who bypass, there's the next word, quoting the legal system to get the driver's license. And he said, then they know who the people are, and those persons were encouraged, I should say, to turn in this fraudulent driver's license. They had, I think, 6 weeks from the time he made the announcement to turn in the driver's license and go through the correct process. Maybe they should have told us, maybe after 2 weeks, I think about 2 weeks ago, President should have indicated, or somebody should have indicated, GRA or somebody, how many licenses were turned in. Because I said on this program, nobody had turned in a license. They pay $80,000 to $100,000 to get a driver's license, and you come here and tell you, turn in your driver's license, got you the process. They weren't doing that. By now, they have to have been able to tell us, because the president said they get the figures. They get the figures. So therefore, they can tell you how many thousands or how many hundreds of people got the license by bypassing the system, as the president said. So therefore, you're in possession of that information. So therefore, you have to tell us, raw number, so many persons have turned in a license, which is of so much percentage of those who acquire their license illegally, right? I don't know if anybody turned in a license, but then the article goes on to say, that's just your background. It says here, 2 weeks after President Irfan Ali gave persons holding a quote fraudulently obtained, end of quote, driver's license, 6 weeks to surrender them and restart the process, he has announced that persons who facilitated the process for those licenses to be obtained fraudulently will be fired starting early in the new year. Well, we're into the new year, right? Maybe today Monday is the rail force working day. So let me see what's going to happen. The announcement comes following a comprehensive post-audit conducted by the government in collaboration with the Guyana Revenue Authority, GRA, the Ministry of Home Affairs, and the Ministry of Public Works, Government Efficiency and Implementation. Quote, early in January, you will see a lot of people being sent home. We have just completed the records of all of the licenses issued by GRA versus how many persons passed the theoretical test versus how many persons passed the practical test. I can tell you the results, that's what I said, we're reading, the results is alarming, the president said. In addition, the president said that the driver's test will now be digitized to reduce the human bias, adding that the country must not be in a position where it loses revenue to corruption. Quote, we must never have the type of situation that rob this country of hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue. So We building everything on system driven by technology on a digital backbone to improve efficiency and enhance accountability and transparency. End of quote. The president said the private sector will also get in line, adding that the move is part of a broader national effort to promote institutional integrity, digital transformation, and accountability. We have a lot to unpack. First of all, to my good friend Gordon Mosley, go Mo. I got to wrap you, You're quoting the president in the third paragraph of this release, right? I start with a quotation mark. And then you're saying here, let me read back the part. Early in January, you will see a lot of people being sent home. We have just completed the records of all the licenses issued by a GRA versus how many persons passed the theoretical test versus how many persons passed the practical test. And I can tell you, the results is alarming. Oh, the results is alarming. Come on, Gordon. If you are quoting the president, and if the president mash up the Queen grammar like that, the word sick, you know that SIC, right? Teacher, what the book name, research and thing, you got to put the word sick, SIC, behind this this bad verb there. So after is, you should get sick. To tell people that you're quoting, it's a mistake, but you're quoting what was mentioned. That is what they taught me at university. When you're quoting, if the person who you're quoting make a mistake, you can't change it because you're quoting the person, but you have to put the in parenthesis, sick in bracket, open close bracket, SIC, right? SIC. And let me tell you what it means. I'll do my research. I'll do my research. It means, hold on. You put, that says Latin means thus or so, used in brackets after quotation to show an error, unusual spelling, or strange phrasing that was in the original text, not the transcriber's fault. Right? So once you're going to quote, it means thus, it means so far, and therefore that is what they taught me at university, right? That SIC commissioner. So after the word is, because we know, in case you don't understand, well, no, I shouldn't say that. I don't want to be insultive to my student. I can tell you the results can be is, got to be results are, but you're quoting, you're saying the results is, and therefore to indicate to people like me and others that you're quoting him and it should have been are, after the word is, should have been open bracket, SIC, close bracket. In other words, you're telling us the quotation is a quotation and the mistake was made by the person who you're quoting. Basic story at university. So, Gordon, you got to buy me a drink. Let me meet for that. You got to buy me a drink when we reach. You can't be quoting and not putting that sick to indicate, because people will believe it's you and no proper grammar. Mashing up the cream is an R. Like Lewis used to refer to them people as is an R people. They don't know how to use the subject and verb agreement. We call it subject and verb agreement, right? The verb, let me go back what he say. Let me go back and say we are no teacher, right? The results, he said the results, plural. The verb got to be plural, are. It can be the results is. Can be the results is, right? But they just mash up the grammar. They go say that we just come here to, we just make grammatical errors and so on. We do, but the story is that we know the rules. We know the rules. I remember some time ago, green verb, Ulrich. Some time ago, there was a certain farewell parade at the TSU Square. I was in the US at the time. And a friend of mine, the late, great Gregory Christiani Peppers, he used to stammer on thing. He had stutter, call it stutter. So I am in the US and my phone rang and it's Peppers calling me. And Pepper stammering telling me that Scotland Yard in Guyana. So I said, Scotland Yard in Guyana. He said, yeah, yeah, Scotland Yard in Guyana. So I said, what? He said, they're investigating a murder. They're investigating a murder. Well, I get very excited and concerned. Scotland Yard in Guyana investigating a murder. He said, yes. I said, who murdered her? He said, he can't out. He said, he just murdered the Queen English. So they said, that was Peppers. That was Peppers some years ago. He said, yes, man. The man murdered the Queen English. Scotland Yard, they're investigating and so on. So you know that there's more to this thing. Like the Minister of Education of Guyana, telling me earlier today, I will do my utmost best. Oh man, well that's not grammar, but there's utmost. You know what I mean? Utmost. You're gonna do your best. It's redundant, right? But that many things we get. No. Let me. I was trying to make this point. Let me stick a pin here. Go back. There's she asked if we cook up rice that cash it. No. And a lot of people in Guyana, cook-up rice couldn't get cashew either because the cashew would have been used for the pepper pot. And I ain't got money for my cashew. First of all, where you come from in the country, don't put cashew in pepper pot. But just in case they used to put cashew in pepper pot, by the time you spend the money on the cashew for the pepper pot, you don't get no money for my cashew for the cook-up rice. No, you ain't get no money for cashew for that, right? So that is what, but let me, before I continue with this Senhom story, and before I forget, yesterday a student called me. He said that he was traveling along the Linden-Suzik Highway. We come into traffic briefly. The man said there was a broken down truck on the highway. And he said, Chief, you won't believe this. A policeman in uniform, traffic belt and so on, stopped. And you know what the man put for the warning that this broken junk truck? He said the man got the car in the road, pick up a piece of branch. He said the police picked up a piece of branch and put it behind the truck to warn people that this truck break down. And he said, I am telling you this because I remember you on the program Speaking Out, advising them, recommending what should happen with the Linden patrol, the safety patrol that should be mounted. But the traffic chief said, nah, they're doing them thing already. But the man told me yesterday, he said he's sorry he didn't get to take out the picture because he was on the phone speaking to his wife and he passed the thing, right? He said the police take, first he said in a branch, he said the police pick up a piece of bramble. For those of us in the country, you're gonna understand the word, right? Bramble, the man pick up a piece of bramble and put it behind the truck. That was his way of trying to warn. I am blaming the police, right? That's all he had. He's using this initiative, right? Because if he had been properly equipped, as I had recommended, he wouldn't have got to do that. He would not have had to do that, pick a piece of bramble from the road corner and put it behind the truck, right? That is what I was told yesterday. That is what, let me bring in Mr. C. Conway, and then we can go back to this flying thing, what happened maybe from Monday, right? CC, the police pick up a traffic rank. I kid you not. That is what the man told me. He said, Guyana is not a rape place. The man go in the bush corner, pick up a piece of bramble, put it behind the truck. That was intended to warn drivers of this broken down truck. What is your take on that, my brother?
Well, night before the last, I traveled the highway and I didn't see a police. I didn't encounter police. And even look where they're repairing roads, some of those lights, they might work daytime, but they're not working nighttime at all. They're not luminous. Some places they got plenty thing daytime, but when you come to the night, they're not reflective. You can't see them from a distance. So the traffic chief, they say that they put everything in place there, but nothing is there in place, buddy. Nothing in there in place. The signs, a couple of signs what they put in is daytime signs, not nighttime signs. And let me just skip on about the English, You remind me of about a man died now, Henry Milton Shakespeare Wharton. He was a Hansard specialist. There's a man who would correct the speeches and so in Parliament and put them in proper order. And I used to use him at the college to teach people the use of language. Senior officers, and it's just fun sometimes because some of them used to get lose marks for their handwriting, and you had to cross the T and dot the I. Henry Milton Shakespeare Wharton, who knew the Queen's English inside out. And you talk, and I started to reflect on Henry Milton Shakespeare Wharton, who used to teach English. I know they get teaching English now, if they get anybody teaching English, or we used to call it the use of language to members of the force.
Well, these things are important. I remember the first year at UG doing environments of public administration. The lecture was Theodore Morris. Theo Morris was the lecturer, and a lot of people were critical because Theo was a tough marker. He was a tough marker, and students were critical. Say, well, you're doing environments of public administration, and the man marking them down for grammar and all this everything, and the belief shouldn't be. And Theo used to make a point that when you are at this level at university, you got to know to express yourself properly in words. And I remember, I will never ever forget, I'm not ashamed to say it, I wrote a paper and spelled a word incorrectly. Right? I spelled it wrong. The word was interest. I spelled the word INTREST. I left out the second E. And Theo was so harsh that every word, I think the word was repeated twice or so. Deduct marks. And he told me, he said, excellent paper, but this mistake. He said, and this is a beefsteak because you repeated it. And that is the way. That is the way you got to learn to express yourself in the language. And I said this before I go back to this firing thing. I've always said that perhaps you're going to be forgiven for making mistake with the spoken words. You talk and you miss. Many times you hear people, they recognize that they made a mistake, grammatical or otherwise, and they repeat, they correct it. Right? So perhaps you can be forgiven because when the word gone, the word gone. But when you sit down to write, then you ought not to be making grammatical and other mistakes because you have enough time to go through and to correct it. Because it's one of the common mistakes is that maybe you're writing something and you're using the subject is singular, but then later on you change it to plural and you forget to adjust the verb, right? It can happen. But when you sit down and you write, right, you ought not to be making some of the mistakes that these people are making. And then one of the things too, if you're using a word processor, right, I'm going to show you that the spelling wrong and the construction wrong and suggestions are offered. So how you sitting down and writing and making all them mistakes and so on, right? Not how you making mistake. So let me move on back to this thing here with the president saying that people can go home. First of all, let me explain to y'all, again, we can't remember what the president has said. Hold on. I saying, we'll put some context in this thing. He said early in January, you will see a lot of people being sent home. We have just completed the records of all of the license issued at GRA versus how many persons passed the theoretical test versus how many people passed the practical test. And I can tell you the result is alarming. So they have the figures. They have the figures of all of this, following this triangulation. And let me say this, because they come and they talk, and we need to analyze. First of all, let's understand the process, the correct process of issuing a driver's license, right? I explained it before, but in light of this statement by the president, I need to explain it again. First of all, the Guyana Revenue Authority issues the driver's license. I'll tell you what should be. The Guyana Revenue Authority, they issue the driver's license, right? The police, well, they're supposed to conduct the theoretical examination, even though we know now the thing after some Zara. But the police supposed to provide you with the learner driver package. You pay, you get the learner driver package. This is intended for you to study and to take the examination. Now, once you study and you pass the examination, you're then supposed to get a provisional license, which allows you to practice to drive. At some time, when you're satisfied that you can drive, you make an appointment with the licensing and certifying officer of the police to do the practical examination. So if you go through the theory, you practice to drive, you go, you do the practical examination, is a police licensing and certifying officer who issues you with a certificate of competence. In other words, a police licensing and certifying officer is certifying that this person is competent to drive this class of vehicle, and then you take that certificate of competence to the Guyana Revenue Authority, and upon the production of that document, then you are issued with a driver's license. So given the statement by the president, you understand the background now. So are they saying that the GRA, the Guyana Revenue Authority, people there were issuing driver's license without a certificate of competence? That's one thing you have to look at, right? Is it that somebody issuing this driver's license and there's no certificate of competence to verify that this person went through the process? There's one aspect. If that is not so, in other words, if the GRA is issuing a driver's license based on the production of a certificate of competence, you have to deal with the persons who issue the certificate of competence. Right? Again, let me explain that. If it is that the GRA, the Guyana Revenue Authority, if they are issuing a certificate of competence, if they are issuing a driver's license without the person producing a certificate of competence, then they are culpable, they are liable by themselves. Right? If it is that a certificate of competence is produced, and based on the certificate of competence, the GRA issues the license, and then it is discovered following this triangulation that the people did not take the practical, they did not take the theory and all of that, you got to deal with the police who issuing this license, the police who issuing the certificate of competence, unless you can then prove that, look, the certificate of competence is fraud, it's fraudulent, it's a forgery. So this nice way to just jump up and make it does sound good, right? It does sound good. But when you analyze it further, then you recognize that talking stupidness. Well, Mark asked a question because I would expect that certificates of competence and other documents are going to be retained by the Guyana Revenue Authority as part of the record, because I can't see a person applying for driver's license, right? I think you got a form you got to fill out. You present your certificate of competence, and then they're going to destroy that. That has to be a part of your record. So there should be a paper trail. There should be a paper trail with the licensing and certifying officer signature and the date it was issued and all of that. All of that should be there. All of that. And let me say further, right? Hold on. Yeah, therefore, if they did this triangulation, you find that the certificate of competence that is produced or is presented to GRA, right, come from the police. So this sending over they're talking about, so is GRA and police ranks are being sent over? Is it the GRA ranks and the police ranks? Following this, one would have expected that there would have been a proper investigation, not just the president sung the dog whistle and then you're going to dismiss people willy-nilly. I am not condoning this type of illegal behavior, because remember, it is us on this program who for months now, years, pointing out the skullduggery, the corruption in the issuing of the driver's license. Now they wake up. Now the president wake and smell the coffee and he making a statement. Well, we have been pointing out a long time. Rohan Singh did this audit. He was in the audit office of the police, and he made the point. And I see it someplace where you have a case where, let's say, 100 persons take the theoretical examination, and they're saying 200 pass. More people pass than those who took the examination. It's corruption. Have we made the point here too, that what's going on? People ain't even going through all of these things now. You give some of the facilitators $80,000 to $100,000, I understand, is the going price. You just give them the $80,000 to $100,000, and you get your certificate of competence, and you're going to get your license. So you got to take no exam, you got to buy no package, you got to do. And I want to know, because when you bought the package, there was a record too. There was a record of those persons who enrolled in the system and so on. But I don't know what really going on. And let me say before bringing CC, what about the person who they said bypass? So all right, we're dealing with one end, the issuing end, where maybe the police who issued the certificate of competence, the GRA persons who issued the license. What about the individual who acquired the driver's license fraudulently? What about that person? Are they not going to be dealt with? How are you going to deal with let's assume you're doing something, you're going to deal, say firing, but can't see you firing the civilian who applied for who pay and get the driver's license. You can't fire. So when you talk about firing, you talk about firing the people within the system, GRA police maybe. But what happened to the person who would have, you talk about the facilitators, what happened to the person who actually paid the bribe to get this driver's license? Well, they are not going to be dealt with. Are they not going to be dealt with? Are they not going to be dealt with? I want them to answer that question. And then, before I bring in CC again, let me say this. We're not condoning illegality. But there's something called rule of law. There is something. I know this is a strange concept to many of those in government. Rule of law. Presumption of innocence. So you're going to dismiss Jossa? They are not going to be given the chance to be heard? CC talk about the Bible and the chance to be heard and all of these everything. Are they not going to be, let's say, GRA officers and police officers are caught in this web of corruption? It's just summary dismissal? Are they not going to be given an opportunity to face the music, so to speak? We want to know. Because I would not put it beyond this illegal and this ironed and undemocratic government to say, well, look, just dismiss them. The president said they're going to file some in the new year, and people jump, dismiss. But is that how it should work? If these people, you have evidence that the president is suggesting that they broke the law, go through the process, put them before the court. So you're going to dismiss GRA people, maybe police, just so that's what the president said. President said they are going to be charged and face the full consequences. The president said early in January, you will see a lot of people being sent home. That is what the president said. And let's see what will happen. Let's see what is going to happen. But I can say this, right? The system stinks. And if you have the evidence, go through, put them before the court. If you got it, or put them through some process. Even if it's an internal process, put them through some process. But to dismiss people just like that, because what's going to happen? Many of them going to challenge it in court and they're going to win. And even though they might not be reinstated, it's we the taxpayer going to pay them when the judge order damages, award damages and so on. That is what will happen. Let me bring in CC for him to obviously on this very, very ticklish subject. CC, we have been talking about this corruption in the driver's license process. The president, they now wake up, Rip Van Winkle, they now wake up and he's talking about dismissing or sending home people. Your take?
The right to be heard. And I'm saying, or as I said before, that the right to be heard is a God-given right. It was there in the beginning. It was there in Genesis when Adam and Eve pick and consume that forbidden fruit from the poisonous tree. The Lord knew what they had done, and he didn't pass sentence on them. He listened to them. But coming back properly to this driver's license issue, I said before, Zara is not a paragon of virtue. They took away the driver's license part of it where we had to do the test, and they gave it to Zaro. They said it's be done electronically, but there's no integrity testing done in on Zaro. There's no anti-corruption activity done in Zaro, but they're not looking that way. They're not looking at Zaro. And the thing is, you mentioned it. Ron Singh said 1,151 persons got their license illegally. You pass the test, you get the certificate, you go to the certified license certified officer, you do the practical. If you pass, you get a certificate of competence, and you go to they do the GRA and they do the necessary. But persons are bypassing the system. Check and see how many persons doing practical examination, and check and see how many persons approaching GRA with competence. Check it. It's alarming. And then the president say you got triangulated data. I wonder where you get it from. I wonder if they extract it from Pegasus that they've been using. You know that Israeli spy equipment that they bought for over 50 million US dollars. I wonder if it's the thing in there. But I'm saying, if you got the information, deal with it now. The action, I was saying, must be swift, must be certain, and must be appropriate. Bill Clinton words when they bomb Oklahoma City. Action we take will be swift, will be certain, will be appropriate. What is the president keeping it for? If you have the evidence there, what are you keeping it for? Yeah? You get it, and then commanders, people gotta be meticulous. Let's say, for the sake of argument, Zaro send 200 names of persons who pass the exam there. Are there any? Do they do any checks on it? Do they do any checks on Zaro to find out whether that was properly done? And then again, too, I had experience and then you have the traffic chief. He will send out to the commandos X among the people wrote the theory and pass. And he got a whole long list. Does he look for documentation? People been joking in thing. People been joking in thing. And then even with the certificate of competence, I know persons, when I, when I was commanding, they quote some other body document that they passed the exam. Let me, they quote some other body thing that they passed the exam. Some person turn up, and based on that, they give them a certificate of competence. The whole thing need a broader investigation and more auditing, and you know that the thing is widespread. It is widespread. We've been talking about it all the time, and I'm saying, if the president get the bloody information, the authentic thing, all the evidence there, why are you waiting for 6 weeks? Why are you waiting for 6 weeks? Perhaps he like oh, Percy Sledge, huh? His Percy Sledge. Otis Redding, sorry, like Otis Redding, sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time, watching the tides roll away, and nothing will happen, and nothing will happen. Like Otis Redding, the president, sitting at the dock of the bay.
let me deal with this thing. I think, hold on. Bear with me one moment. Oh, yeah, David, if you call him on the program, I don't know why. Hold on, let me. Let me hear somebody saying that they're not, hold on, that you're not hearing me? Are you? Come on, who is this man? Comrade, y'all let me know if y'all hearing me. Because some people are saying not hearing and others are saying that they're hearing. So I would suggest those of you who are saying that you're not hearing me, those of you who say they're not hearing, please log out and log back in. Because people are saying, let me run the comments and it's are saying, man, look, something is wrong with some of the end. Because people saying here that y'all tell me if you are hearing me. I don't want to be talking to myself. I had muted just now to answer the call. I had muted just now to answer, so maybe that is what had happened. So let me know if you're hearing me now.
Yes.
Because I see some people are saying no song. Yeah, hold a while. Something is happening here now. Look, the mic was muted for a while and the mic came back. Come on, man. Y'all stop calling. Stop calling. Y'all messing up this thing this afternoon. Right? Y'all messing up this thing here. The mic was muted by accident a while ago, but I unmuted it a long time. Hold on. They said they hear me loud and clear now. All right, let me give them a chance. Well, let's say you're back. But I had deliberately muted the mic to take a call. So maybe it's the period you were talking about. I deliberately muted the mic because I was taking a call. So I put it on back. So they said they hear me now. So yeah, we're saying I don't know where I dropped off, but they are saying that I'm saying that if you find evidence of corruption in the system, you find evidence of corruption in the system, and your way of dealing with that is to allow people to put themselves in 6 weeks for people to put themselves in order. What nonsense is that? That is the way you're going to tackle corruption. And I said then that maybe the reason is that you don't want to really address corruption because you know it's going to go way back. You're going to come right back into these offices, and maybe some of the people who are involved are some of the FFFs, the friends, the family, and favorite, and therefore you don't want to rock the boat, so to speak. You don't want to rock the boat. So I really can't understand how this matter of corruption is being dealt with. I really can't understand. But the president say that January, this is January, they're going to get some firings in January. Now, before I move on, let me bring in, I think CC is there. He was calling me. Well, let me hear, let me see if everything. CC, I know apparently I pressed the mute button by accident. And when I recognized it, I then took it off. So I think everybody hearing me now.
Yeah, I was calling to tell you that you were talking to yourself for a very long time.
All right, good. Okay. My apologies to the students for that. I am mad. So if you were talking to myself with some accident, I am crazy. Right? Now, what is it now? I have another song to play for you students, man. You know, first day in the year, I mean, this corruption thing and all of these things are serious stuff that we got to talk about. But let me lighten this part of it again.
January girls, I think, are the best. January girls, they surpass the rest. February girls, they are hard to please and like to have their men bowing to their knees. And as the March winds blow, the girls are just the same. They drink you like a fish and give you a false name. In every sense, I would rather be in love with a girl born January. The girls that were born in April and May, they like to be glamorous night and day. Parties and nightclubs, they gone to roam. It's difficult to get them to stay at home. As for June and July, you cannot trust. They are known to the world to be flirtatious, and that is why I would rather be in love with a girl born January. August, September and October, it will be Virgo, Scorpio and Libra. Well, the girls that were born under these three signs, they like the English weather for changing their minds, especially those who born under Scorpio. They just tell you yes and then they change to no, and that is why I would rather be in love with a girl born January. January ruled by Aquarius. They are usually modest and generous. The appropriate partner to have in life. They guarantee to make you a splendid wife. Well, November and December don't trust their sight. They like angels in the day and devils at night. And that is why I would rather be in love with a girl born January.
So let us know if you are in love with a girl born January. January girls, man. January girls. I have a January girl. I don't know. Some people say, I see Commissioner Cole, they say, well, no, they're not January. And so on. January girls are the best. I can attest to that. I can attest to that. Now, coming back to the previous topic, someone asked a question, if you are returning to Ghana, if you have to go through some process. I'm not sure. I didn't get to read it. Well, I looked at it, but it disappeared now. Now, as far as I know, if you have a foreign driver's license and you go to Ghana, you're allowed to drive with that license for a specific period of time, right? You are for a specific period of time. Thereafter, you have to get yourself sorted out, right? If you have a driver's license from, let's say, any state in the US or any place in the Caribbean, you can drive up to a certain period of time on that. And thereafter, I think it's 3 months or 6 months. I can't be sure, but you can investigate that, right? Yeah. So coming back, that they said somebody say, they talk about somebody said 60 days. You're allowed to drive for 60 days. That's 2 months. I'm not sure about the time frame, but I know that they made an announcement sometime within the past year or two that you are allowed to drive in Guyana, rent vehicle and drive based on the production of a foreign license. But it's for a specific period of time. If you want to acquire a Guyanese driver's license, I believe you have to, I'm not sure, but you might have to go through a different process for that. Right? Right. So having said that, let me move to another very touchy subject. Right? We're talking about the threat. This is serious business here. The threat to democracy in Guyana. And this is not politics. We're talking about corruption and incompetence, not politics. The threat to democracy as Guyana. Right? Again, the year has ended without a properly functioning parliament. Now we know that the Speaker of the National Assembly has not called the meeting of the opposition members to elect the leader of the opposition. Right? And what happened? I don't know if you are following the news. Some of you, I'm sure, are. On All Year's Day, the 31st of December 2025, the president appointed members of the Teaching Service Commission. The president of Guyana appointed members of the Teaching Service Commission. And let me read something here. It says, so President Irfan Ali appointed members of the Teaching Service Commission. This should be a cause for serious concern, because I am not sure we are all grasping the absolute audacity of it. Our Constitution has a rule, a simple one. Article 207 says, for key appointments, the president must consult the opposition leader. Not maybe, not if he feels like he must consult the leader of the opposition. So what did the government do? They looked at the rule, suck up them teeth, and pelt it in the trash. Right? President Ali has just appointed 3 members of the Teaching Service Commission with zero consultation. Why? Because there's technically no opposition leader right now. And whose fault is that? The Speaker of the National Assembly, elected by the PPP majority, and the known, stooge, has refused to convene the meeting to let the opposition pick one. They created the problem, then used their own problem as an excuse to break the rules. The excuse, according to the president, the work must go on. Since when does government work involve disregarding the Constitution? They let the TSC, the Teaching Service Commission, sit dormant for 2 years, making shady backroom appointments in education. Now suddenly, it's an emergency that justifies bypassing the supreme law of the land. This isn't a loophole, it is a power grab. They are treating our Constitution, the foundational document that's supposed to protect us all from the exact behavior, like a suggestion box, mere guidelines, not law, not code. They want us to believe that they had no choice. That's a lie. They had every choice. They choose the one that consolidates their power and erodes our democracy. What next? Which other commission loses its independence? Which other rule becomes a guideline when it's inconvenient for them? This isn't about politics. This is about principle. If we stay silent while they rip one page out of the Constitution today, what's to stop them from burning the old book tomorrow? Now, this is profound. This is profound. The Constitution, Article 207, stipulates that the president must, and by now we know whenever the word must is used in law or in Constitution, it is a mandatory. You have to do that. They said they must consult with the leader of the opposition. Not maybe he consult, or if he likes to consult, but the president went there and he made the appointment, and then he's reported to have said, well, it is important because if it's not, the commission is not there, then promotions and retirements and all of those things are going to be affected. But who is to be held responsible? I know that the government going to say it's not them, right? Because according to Article 184 of the Constitution, it is the duty of the Speaker of the Parliament, Mansour Nadir, to summon a meeting of members of the opposition for them to elect the leader of the opposition. But then happened, Parliament remember elections held on the 1st of September 2025. Parliamentarians sworn in. Parliament was convened on the 3rd of November, and parliamentarians sworn in then. And from 3rd of November to now, 2 months, Mansour Nadir, the speaker, can't call this meeting to have the leader of the opposition elected. Can. Then what they say? Oh, President, and I know, you know, the crystal ball tells me this. Because what they're going to argue that, well, it was necessary for these people to respond. But as I just read, there has not been the Teaching Service Commission properly constituted for 2 years. During that time, you had an opposition leader, and if you wanted to consult, you could have consulted with the opposition leader and followed the Constitution. But this Constitution to them is a document of inconvenience. Inconvenient document. So you can bypass it. And you're going to go to the court. You're going to go to the court, as I expect the people to do, to challenge the appointment. And then the wicket set. And I'm going to read why I say the wicket set. The wicket is set. And, you know, coming back, because it is not the first time. This is not a one-off. The president violated the Constitution back in 2021, June 2021, when he suspended the Police Service Commission that I was chair. Suspended. With immediate effect. He suspended some spurious allegation thing as well. He suspended it. We challenged it. I challenged it in court. And the judge ruled in my favor that the president acted unconstitutionally because, what it says. And the judge ruled he violated Article 225 because Article 225 of the Constitution sets out the process to remove constitutional officers. It sets out the process that is involved the Judicial Service Commission. At the time, there was no Judicial Service Commission, but the president decided that thing, and then the Attorney General going to argue that it was necessary, given the impression the country was in crisis. And so they did that. And the judge, Gino Prasad, made a very profound statement. He said then in that ruling that the fact that there is no Judicial Service Commission to be part of this process to suspend members of the chairman and members of the Police Service Commission is the president's burden to bear, because he is the one who is responsible for making sure that those appointments are made. But you don't make the appointment, and then you say, well, I can't consult because there's no commission. And that is what's going to happen here now, because you're going to raise, and I got to say this. I have to say this. And I know the liars and all them that listen and follow. And when the appointment of Ikin was challenged and the Police Service Commission, remember? Because there was no consultation with the leader of the opposition. And then they argue that it was necessary. No consultation then, right? And the Chief Justice, acting then, ruled that the appointment was properly made, because she said that at the time when the appointment was made, there was no leader of the opposition. And I said then, and I continue to say, that that decision should have been challenged. But it is there now as a precedent. Because my argument was, still is, that if we go way back to 2020, when in late July, the substantive commissioner, Leslie James, proceeded on leave, and Nigel Appy was made to carry out the functions of the commissioner. Then they came into office in August of 2020. There was a leader of the opposition shortly thereafter, Joseph Armand, the leader of the opposition. They did not seek to appoint Appy as acting as substantive commissioner for almost 2 years or so. But as soon as Appy proceeded on retirement leave, they bring it in, appointee as the acting commissioner without any consultation. And therefore, the argument that it was necessary, I believe, could not hold water, because if it was necessary, it ought to have been necessary since July or August of 2020, and Appy is the person then should have been appointed, right? But that's what, so that precedent is there. They're going to come and they're going to argue that it was necessary. President already show Yan necessary to appoint the Teaching Service Commission because no promotion, retirement, and all them type of thing. Dictatorship, breakdown in the rule of law. Little bit. And they're getting very audacious now because they have engineered, and I say this without any fear, they have engineered an arrangement where the leader of the opposition is not elected. Look, everything points to that. All the circumstantial evidence point to that. They orchestrated this thing. They engineered it, right? They engineered it. And then no leader of the opposition. So they're going to go to court and argue, well, there's no leader of the opposition. And then they're going to say, well, it's not the government failure to appoint the leader of the opposition. It is Mansour Nadir, the speaker. Article 184 says he is the person who should call the meeting to appoint the leader, to elect the leader of the opposition. That is what they're going to do. That is what they are going to do, right? That is what. Let me bring in CC for him to have his say on this matter. Sure, he has a lot to say too. Then we're going to go on. CC, this old story about the Teaching Service Commission, the bypassing of the Constitution. What are your views?
Before I go into my views, let me just go back to something you said previously. Let me make a statement that I also have a January girl, and it's the 9th of January. Now, this Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana is the supreme law of the land. The president is a creature of the Constitution. I repeat, the president is a creature of the Constitution. And I remember years ago, when R.B. Norton was the General Secretary of the PNC and Desmond Height was the leader of the party. And Height made a statement. He said R.B. Norton wasn't keeping his short in his pants, not literally. And he said that R.B. Norton, the General Secretary for the party, is a creature of the leader. It is the leader that will appoint him, and is the leader that will get rid of him. But let's look at appointments in the Service Commission, the Teaching Service Commission. And I always like to go to the Constitution. Article 207, you did mention it briefly. And here it say, the Teaching Service Commission shall consist of 7 members. 7 members. And here the breakdown. 6 of the members of the commission, herein referred to as appointment members, shall be appointed as follows. A. Subparagraph A, repealed by Act number 5 of 2001. B. 1 person appointed by the president on nomination by the Guyana Teachers Association. I repeat, 1 person appointed by the president on the nomination of the Guyana Teachers Association. 2 persons nominated for appointment by the minister assigned responsibility for the local government after that minister has consulted with local democratic organs or bodies. And this one is important. D. 3 persons appointed by the president after meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition. The other member of the commission shall be the chief education officer. So when we look at it, is that 1 person, after recommendation from the GTU, the Guyana Teachers Union, there's 1. 2 persons, after consulting with the local government minister, after the local government ministers consulted with the local democratic organs. And 3, after the president had meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition. And the seventh person is the chief education officer. It is in the constitution, embedded in the constitution. And the president can't change this. And let me go to Article 94. Find Article 94 just a while. And here what Article 94, sir, it talks about removal of president for violation of constitution or gross misconduct. And it will say, the president may be removed from office if he or she commits any violation of the constitution or any gross misconduct. The procedure for removing him or her is prescribed in Article 180. Well, I have time to go into Article 180. It's a big, long, drawn process where you got to go to Parliament and the Chancellor's got to appoint persons, tribunal, and all kind of thing. But this saying that the three persons the president would appoint after meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition. And as you mentioned, Paul, it is the president's burden to bear. The Bengal leader of the opposition is he got to make sure that things in place, start to give the speaker the order, call in parliament and get a leader of the opposition. Huh? And that's where the thing has gone wrong. And then there are 2 years or two thereabout that they had no teaching service commission, you know. But the point I wish to make is that we can't get a president violating the constitution willy-nilly. The president is the president comes under the constitution. The constitution is the supreme law. The president is a creature of the constitution, and if he violates the constitution, he can be removed from office. The article is clear, the procedure to be followed, big, long, drawn-out process, but the bottom line is that you gotta get 2/3 majority. So I'm saying that we cannot allow the president to constantly violating the constitution. It's what some people call crass dictatorship. It must not happen. And they can't shelter under the doctrine of necessity because you had the opportunity for years to put things right and you did not put things right. So you can't come and say because of this or because of that, the case may be. A stop has got to be put. That the president can't willy-nilly, as I said before, violently violate the constitution. It is unconstitutional and action to be taken to prevent any violation of the constitution, which is the supreme law. We in North Korea and them places. We in there down there. The constitution is there and we must follow the constitution to the letter. Follow it to the letter.
Yeah, well, we're not in North Korea or Russia, but we're acting just as that. Because to this type of blatant disregard, and I noted some of the opposition parliamentarians have written letters and so on. But now you all have to recognize that writing letter in the press in Guyana alone will not cut it. These issues have to be highlighted internationally. Because it is my view that unless the international community is made aware of these things, right, nothing can happen because the government don't care. They just don't care. They just don't care what is right. Constitution, a document of inconvenience. We're gonna follow that. We can go ahead and make the appointment. But as somebody said, at this very thing that I read just now said, it says here, this isn't about politics. This is about principle. if we stay silent while they rip one part of the Constitution today, what's to stop them from burning the old book tomorrow? And then look out what's going to happen next. Because remember, you have other constitutional bodies to be appointed, including the Police Service Commission. And therefore, look out. Look out. Already the Police Service Commission is acting unconstitutionally. The life ended since last year. And they have continued to say that they are performing. At least the chairman continue to say that they're making promotion and they're doing all of these things, even though the life ended last year, 2025, early in 2025, right? So look out, the next thing coming on here, the swearing in of the Police Service Commission. No need to consult with the leader of the opposition as stipulated by the Constitution. That is what's going to happen. And you tell me we're going to get people who sit back there, opposition member of parliament, just sit back and accepting that? Accept it. You're going to take it to court, but when you take it to court, as we said, the wicket is already set. The wicket is already set because, there's a letter I told you on the last occasion, or yesterday, I think the same day, a letter by Attorney at Law Juman Yassim, Senior Counsel Juman Yassim, has a letter there. And I think it was yesterday, Starbrook News has an article referencing the same letter. And you must read it. Yeah, I must read it. I really ain't get time now to go through all of it. But it relates to the headline of that article. It speaks to in the absence of any other information, I have come to the conclusion that a plan was hatched by the government to have Justice Cummins Edwards removed as Chancellor. Read that article. That's your homework. We're going to come back. We're going to read that article. Read that article. And then moving to the next subject, get about 15 minutes more. There is this back and forth, or there was a back and forth between the presumptive leader of the opposition, Azzuddin Mohammed, and the Minister of Tourism now, Susan Rodriguez. Azzuddin made a video, show all the property she got, and when she came out, and she wrote something for us, that she is from money. The lady rightfully says that she come from money. But many questions were asked. Many questions were asked. And some of the questions asked, you come from money, but yet still you yourself in parliament, when you went to parliament, Tabo, you come from this poor family. The minister is now saying that she come from money, but there's evidence. When she made a statement in parliament, she said her mother used to, or her grandmother, somebody used to scrub floor. So where does money come from? Where does money come from? And let me ask some questions. Because she made a lot of statements, a lot of splash. She said, one of the things is that if she come from money, she come from money. But if it is that she come from money, Madam Minister, we have to ask who is the owner of 007 taxi service located in Middle Street. An ordinary taxi service. I hear it's some relative of yours. I hear that is where you come from. Valley, Valley, diver, poor people. But you say you come from money, right? So maybe you need to explain that to us. And then another explanation we need, right? Because, following the thing closely. They say, who owns the gas station at the corner of Camp and New Market Street? Who owns the gas station? I think it's a Shell gas station located at the corner of Camp Street and New Market Street, just opposite Shanta. Who owns that gas station? Can you say all your wealth acquired through lawful means and all this everything? All right, so tell us who owns it. Produce evidence. Let me see who owns it. And also up to now, they haven't told us who owns the gas station at Regent and is where the bombing took place. I ain't hearing the mobile gas station here who own it yet. Like you think you own it. But I'm not interested in that now. They're just on the side. I want to know who owned the gas station at Camp and New Market Street in Georgetown, right? Camp and New Market Street. And let me tell you this. Listen to this carefully, students. The minister, Susan Rodriguez, and I got to be very careful and try to be gender neutral when I'm talking here. I don't want to be accused wrongfully. So I'm going to use neutral genders for pronouns and so on. So here what the minister said on our page, right? On our page. She accusing Azruddin Mohammed, but she's not accusing him. She's just asking questions. So let me put that correct. She's asking questions, right? She said, it says, let me be gender neutral, yeah? Because I don't want to use any wrong pronoun. So I'm going to use something very neutral. It said that Azruddin is involved in gold smuggling with Venezuelan military officials. That's what is posted on our page. I can't say that she posted it, but it's on our Facebook page. That the Facebook page says Azruddin is involved in gold smuggling with Venezuelan military officials, trafficking in underage girls. She wants to know about the Paper Shards murder. She wants to know about the Ryan Prasad murder. She talks about laundering money for criminals, including Russian mafia, links to Hezbollah, trafficking in cocaine from Colombia, right? So she posting all these things. They're minister of the government, you know. And remember, them and Azruddin, the tight. So if you knew all of those things, why you wait till now? Why wait till now? And let me tell you again about the same Paper Shards murder and Ryan Prasad murder. When the allegation was made on social media by the police sergeant about monies being paid to the man at major crime by Azruddin Mohammed to cover up the Paper Shards murder, that was there big. Azruddin sue, Caesar sue, or Caesar threatened to sue. But did your government investigate that at the time? It was there, the allegation was made. And what y'all do? What did the PPP government do? They went after the sergeant who made the allegation, a whistleblower. They went after him viciously. Cybercrime charges, East Coast, cybercrime charges, Georgetown. Say he made allegations that the Azruddin Mohammed paid police officer Caesar $30 million Ghana to cover up. It was there in the public domain, and you and your government didn't do nothing. You come now to the thing. Nothing y'all didn't do. As a matter of fact, what y'all did is perhaps, well, not y'all, but see, the police officer, the police sergeant went to hell. Whistleblower legislation? No. No whistleblower. You don't know whistleblower. Right? When the president was approached by the attorney representing the sergeant for protection, I remember that very well. The president was traveling. He said, you didn't read the letter, you didn't get the letter from the lawyer yet. When he come back, he can look at it. Like he didn't come back yet because they never looked at it. They left the sergeant exposed, right? Because all of them, the tight. When you talk about it, you talk about Ryan Prasad. In case you all didn't know the Ryan Prasad story, Ryan Prasad was a little youth man across the river, West Bank Demerara. And it is alleged that some people were practicing with rifles across on the east bank of Demerara. And a bullet went across there, West Bank, and struck and killed this by Ryan Prasad. That's what was alleged. They say it's people from Azruddin Security Company were practicing when this incident occurred, killing this youth man. I know it happened in 2013. You got a jackass you're trying to link, said I influenced it some way. I done left the force over 3 years. The matter was investigated by Lagrange Police Station. And the investigator was asked to take the file to CID headquarters. Silal Prasad was the crime chief. And it is said, it is alleged, that that was the end of the file and the investigation. Nobody in charge, nothing. So Susan Rodriguez come now, and they're raising all of these things, right? They're raising it. I'm glad that you're raising it, because it just shows how complicit you and your government were in this whole thing. Those were allegations made, and they ain't do nothing. A matter of fact, y'all went after the person who made the allegation in terms of the paper shot matter. Coming back to this, coming out to this military people from Venezuela, right? Junior Bush, in the interview with Travis Chase, outlined that process with the gold smuggling, with the Venezuelan military officers traveling to Brazil. The Guyanese going to collect the gold and all them type of thing. What y'all do? If Azadin is involved, investigate. No investigation, and now Susan Rodriguez come in. And let me say this, because I know they just jump up while me representing Azadin Mohammed. If Azadin Mohammed guilty of these things, let him go through due process and face the music. But I'm saying they're waiting conveniently now. They're raising all of these things. Conveniently now, they're raising all of these things. Talk about Hezbollah. You know, I'd like to use this word. Hezbollah is this terrorist organization, an organization labeled as a terrorist organization by the US. Right? Gotta you say that. Oh, they're bringing that. So they're bringing in this thing, Hezbollah. She talks too about trafficking in underage girls. If you trafficking in underage girls, what did your government do with that? What? You got Durham lad accused of raping and sodomizing, buggering an underage, a 16-year-old. Yeah, she was underage at the time. What y'all do? What y'all do? You're calling about trafficking in underage girl. Is that some form of jealousy I detect there? Right? Is there some form of jealousy? Money laundering, money for criminals, including Russian mafia. What you know, again, they come and they talk all of this nonsense. You are in government. You control the investigative arms of the state. And if you know all of these things, your government know all of these things. I suspect if you know your government know too. Why have they not taken appropriate action in this matter? Why have they not? Why? What are they afraid of? So they come and they're talking all of these things. Yeah, they got commuting murder and all them everything. Y'all Waddle murder. Sadio Sa, y'all own minister murder. Mention those things too. Mention those things. But as some people saying, the minister maybe is confused. In many ways, the minister confused. Right? Now, you know, having said that, I'm going to bring in CC just now, but having said that, you're going to see the sycophants and the Ligbati ones, they're going to come and say slow, representing Azadin Mohammed, because Azadin Mohammed was the pioneer. That's what I'm going to come and say. I know I just anticipate them, you know, you can predict them. But again, I say, this is not about Azadin Mohammed. The fact that they have not convened parliament, the speaker has not convened parliament, is bigger than Azadin Mohammed. It has to do with our constitution. It has to do with how we are going to be seen in the international community. All of those things. And this is not about PPP alone. I mean, they're causing the problem, but how we are going to be viewed. We are a government just running roughshod over the constitution. Running roughshod. And then the man get the audacity to say, oh, this thing is necessary. We have got to appoint the Teaching Service Commission because it is, give the impression it's urgent. Because if you don't do that, teachers are going to suffer with promotion. They're going to suffer retirement. So why you didn't do it all the time when there was a leader in the opposition named Harvey Norton? Why you didn't do it? Because it's over 2 years. Over 2 years. But you just got to come, and it has come this new year, gloves off. Gloves off. Because we cannot sit back and allow this type of lawlessness to continue. And before I bring in CC, let me make this point. They talk about the lawlessness on the road. Driver's license and all this everything. Lawless, people driving without license, people riding without helmet, all kind of using cell phone, all kind of lawlessness to talk about. And these people cannot make a nexus between the lawlessness you see on the street and the lawlessness in government. They men see that there's a nexus between that. You live in a lawless society. You live in a lawless society. So the lawlessness manifests itself in all aspects of our lives. All aspects. Let me bring in CC. CC, let have you say, my brother.
And it's only is a clip that Susan says she don't talk, she don't give press statements, she don't everything. So apparently, like, no action will not be taken. Like the thing done right there, you know. And you mentioned a whistleblower, you know, where the sergeant spoke out. He ended up with cybercrime charge, and how can I think the charge was dismissed. They didn't look at what happened in the international world, where there's a whistleblower by the name of Swapiko, a sergeant who shook the very foundation of the NYPD. They are getting NAPS commission and wide-ranging changes, you know, that they're listening to him, And then down under, New South Wales Police Department, Shelley Ann Oxtave, a prostitute, a strumpet, what we used to call, what Sparrow used to call a wabbin, testify and rock the foundation of the New South Wales Police Station and Police Division. But the thing is that they're not going to do investigation, eh? So there'll be no changes. More so, the minister say, hey, I talk enough, I'm making all a statement, thing well done. And then, you know, as you didn't come from the belly of the beast, he been with them, they can tell you was there. So if they want to do investigation, let them do proper investigation. But sir, I'm not confident that any real investigation will be done. Bearing in mind that the minister Chuck and the sound she said, she ain't making no statement, she don't say what she gonna say, and there's it.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that statement. I think it was Sheriff News. Sheriff, one of the propaganda pieces. Sheriff made some comment. She made some comment and basically saying, what she said, because you remember, as I didn't accusing her. Well, I think he accusing, he highlighting something and implying. I think there's a better phraseology, implying that these things might have been acquired through corrupt means, right? Then she said she come from money, and she said the thing. But people say, well, if you come out and defamation and even libel, sue. But she made it. Alyssa just saying and sue. She ain't going to court and all this everything. All of them go to court if it is that you believe that you are being defamed and you're being maligned and you're being libel. Go to court. Go to court. But she said, no, she ain't taking the route. She said, as far as she's concerned, the matter is finished. And therefore, questions are still circulating. Who owns the gas station at Camp and New Market Street? These people, let me say this before I close this issue for today. Let me say this. We have some ministers of the government, right? Many of them, you can identify them. Look, these people have acquired such riches in such a short space of time, right? And they claim they have investments and all of that. Those who ain't get it through transfer from some relative, they get it through investment. They're going to be some of the most brilliant investors in the world. They make people like Bill Gates and Mukesh Ambani and Warren Buffett look stupid. Because Buffett is 95 years old, multi-billionaire. You get Ambani from India. I think he's 68 or something. Bill Gates, I think, is about 70. Them men take a whole set of time to acquire their wealth. We get ministers in 5 years, and in many cases less. Them people get property all over the place, apartment houses. I can show you all some of these things. We get them. So they have to be some of the most brilliant investors. And I always say, man, if you all know these things so well, why you don't teach others to invest and build wealth? Why you don't teach us, the ordinary persons? Well, not me. What about your supporters? They cannot be taught how to invest and to get wealth too. But if they think they're fooling people, we big, but we ain't stupid. We born at night, but not last night. We born at night, but we ain't born last night. We seeing what is happening. We seeing the corruption. By the way, talking about corruption, the president had said in the manifesto that they're going to establish this anti-corruption unit. What happened with that? One would have thought that if this corruption thing is so serious, that would have been one of the first order of business to establish anti-corruption unit. But all is just talk to satisfy maybe the international community. Because remember, and I can use it the countryman talk, when the United Nations people brackle Gail Teixeira about the corruption allegations against Jack Dew. You know what you say? Well, they couldn't investigate because nobody reported it to the police. Then Nandalal got to this a body recently there. I ain't going into any detail, and he making some excuse and so on about corruption. This government talking about corruption. They're talking about transparency. They're talking about accountability. This government, the most corrupt, the most what's the opposite of transparent? The most opaque, right? Government, no accountability, and they use these words and believe that we're stupid. Jack Joseph Guyana gets a lot of stupid people, but we are not numbered among them. We are not, and we're gonna come here, students, and we're gonna analyze these things, and we're gonna deal it, right? They're getting generational wealth and all everything in 5 years. This woman, forgive me, knock me out. This thing, because I gotta be gender neutral. This thing, grandmother used to scrub floor and all that sort of thing, and telling people, but come from money. Come from money yesterday. Come from money yesterday. That is what they mean. Let me bring in CC for his closing, and then I'm gonna tell you what happens next. CC, your closing, please.
Yeah, I just want to ask when geology and mines going to look into what is happening at Marudi Mountain, at Aishalton, where the Brazilians destroying the environment under declaring the gold. And the gold that they produce, massive amount, is being smuggled across the Takatu River. I hear mines commission people frightened for going there because somebody bigger than them and very influential don't want them to go. That their work is in jeopardy. But I'm saying massive gold smuggling. Gold is being shipped out from Marudi Mountain across the Takatu to Brazil.
Yeah. Now, in closing, let me say this. You know, today is Friday, the 2nd day of January 2026. We got to again welcome 2026. Those of us who have been fortunate. Well, all of us are fortunate, but some people would not have been that fortunate. And let me say this. Monday, the 5th, you got to follow these things, you know. The acting Chief Justice is to rule on the application in relation to this extradition matter, right? I remember they're going to the High Court, basically saying that there are constitutional issues to be determined, and they're asking, that is my interpretation, for the extradition hearing in front of Magistrate Judy Lashman to be put on pause until these constitutional issues are heard and determined by the court. So the acting Chief Justice is to rule on Monday on that. I got a strong feeling that on Tuesday, the extradition matter is gonna commence. Let me say it clearly. The ruling will come out on Monday. I ain't telling you what the ruling will be, but on Tuesday, the extradition hearing will commence, right? Because according to Joman Yassim, the wicket set. The wicket is set. So you got to understand these things. You got to understand. Let me remind you, students, too, that, as I said, today is the first program for the new year 2026. Again, I have to thank all of those who have been making contributions, financial contribution to the program, and we hope that you will continue in the new year, because we need your help. We need your help to make sure that we can come here, we can get equipment. You see now we drop in new music and so on for you all. And as I promised, let me play it again for those latecomers. Latecomers, listen in.
Speaking out, yeah. Up comes Parslow and Mr. Clinton, Conway, speaking and exposing corruption each and every day. Yeah. Guyanese, turn on your TV and go to YouTube and listen to what Parslow and Conway to say. Yeah. Whole day we are calling for Parslow and Clinton Conway. They teach and educating, exposing the things in the system. We need a better Guyana for the little boys and the children poor. Slow and Clinton Conway.
All the money they get, 2.2 billion.
Hear me when I sing. Yeah. Oh.
And they would have gotten
Guyanese at home and abroad, please log into Conway as wide as it can reach. Paul Slow, you always will preach. Oh yeah. Like and share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so this message could reach as far and every Guyanese will feel well. Oh yes, yeah. Paul Slow and Clinton Conway. Paul and Conway, every day.
all the money they invest, 2.2 billion of our money. That money could have been invested in some place. They have to Yeah. Tune. We dropped the tune today. First day, first program for the year. You're gonna hear it's gonna be a feature. Somebody just say that is a ringtone. They said they have it there as the ringtone. Yeah. And so therefore, as we say, you gonna continue to support us, and we gonna come bring you information. We're gonna try to innovate as we go along and so on. I had so much more to tell you, but time caught up with us today. I see today, you might have noticed, in case you had noticed, read it. GRA officials to be arrested for illegally aiding Azudin Mohammed in the transfer of vehicles. That's a new thing. All they're talking about is Azudin Mohammed. It's Lamborghini-itis they're suffering from. Lamborghini-itis. Because they're claiming that Azudin illegally, or people from GRA, assisted him in illegally transferring the registration of 11 vehicles to maybe other family members. That's what they're claiming. So they say GRA officials to be arrested. That's what the Amarara wave is breaking. By Monday, we're going to hear what if anybody arrested. We're going to come and we're going to bring you the credible, valuable information. We have so much more. I am encouraging over the weekend to read this letter. It's a lengthy letter from Attorney at Law Senior Counsel Juman Yassim. The man tell you that the wicked set. The wicked is prepared, the wicked set. Right? So read the thing. That's your own work. And I have other stuff that we want to bring to your attention. Other ministers' name are calling in corruption. We're going to play the tapes. We're going to bring you the information. We're going to assess the thing. Folks, again, Happy New Year to one and all. Hope that you have a lot of good plans for the new year. Many of you would have said, I think people go to the gym and I had to exercise. I must tell you that I started my exercise regime this morning. I had lapsed for a while, but I started my exercise regime this morning, and I got to make sure that I follow it religiously, right? I follow it religiously to stay healthy, to stay in shape. Because I want the wrong. I'm begging the good Lord to allow me to be around to see when these mighty fall. Because they're going to fall hard, you know. When they fall, it's going to be like an earthquake. The place can shake. And I am praying to the Almighty to make sure that He keeps His son around and healthy with your faculty intact so you can see and understand what means. You're praying for them. I told you I was got on my knees because they wanted to see me. They still not want it. They want to see me on my knees. But when I got on my knees, it's to pray for them. I got on my knees to pray for them. And I can say, given what is happening or what has happened, the prayers are being answered. Prayers are being answered. And I know a lot of you here who are even more religious than I am. Pray for me to be well and so on. And we'll continue to pray. Folks, we have had a long afternoon. Again, Happy New Year to you all. As things go, I forgot to tell you one important aspect, one important tweaking of the program. On Fridays, we open the school gates 2 hours before. And Mondays and Wednesdays, it was 3 hours. Now we're going to standardize. From Monday, the gates are going to be open 2 hours before. So instead of 8, it's going to be open at 9, which gives me more time to do a little work and so on. So going forward, from Monday and onwards, we standardize it. Gates are going to be open 2 hours before classes commence. So on Monday and Wednesday, we will now open the gates at 9, and we will stick to the 2 o'clock on Friday, right? So, and you would have noted too, we tweaked the thing, adjustment to the flyer and all of that. We are working because we recognize there's need to improvement all the time. So we are working. So folks, have a wonderful weekend, right? Because you into it already. Yesterday was a dead day, really. Today, rather. Because yesterday was the holiday. People got to work today, Friday, but nobody can really work. So they're looking for the weekend now, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe they're going to come out refreshed on Monday to send home some people according to the president. People going to go home and let's see what will happen. But as I say to you, stay well. And I'm going to end you the program rather with the usual ending. We're going to end now with the same new tune that we drop again, a part of it. So I implore you to stay well until we meet on Monday, God's Spray Life. Be well. Bye.
Speaking out, yeah. Up comes Boslow and Mr. Clinton. Can't wait. Speaking and exposing corruption each and every day. Yeah. Guyanese, turn on your TV and go to YouTube and listen to what Boslow and Conway to say. Yeah. Whole day we are calling for Boslow and Clinton Conway. They teach and educating, exposing